Okay, let's do search limits. This is a great thing. I'm going to go back to an English search version here just for ease of use. So I'm just going to double click on the, because I don't tend to want to change my versions. I can either double click on a version or you can type it on the command line, hit enter, either one. That changes your search version. Okay, so I have ESV as my search version. And say I want to search just in Luke and Acts. And you got that pesky book of John in between, so you got to separate the two. Or actually, let me start simple. Let's just search just in Luke first. I'm going to type, you can type limits on the command line with a space. Okay, or let's make it easier, just type the letter L. L space, and then what's the abbreviation for Luke?
L-U-K.
L-U-K, and hit enter. Okay, now two things to notice then. The little yellow box, it's no longer green here, it's yellow. And you notice this, put your cursor on that box, and if you, okay, hold it here. Notice that it has search limits on. That's what that yellow box means, okay? And then if you look at the bottom here in the status bar, limits, CL means it's a search limit set by the command line. So I enter this on the command line, and it's set to Luke, okay? And now I'm going to type the word hope. Let's see if there's any hope in Luke. And hit enter. Nope, there's no hope in Luke, sorry.
At least not the ESV.
What's that?
I said at least not
At least
the
not
ESV.
ESV, that's true. Let's see if there's any love in Luke. Okay. There's some love in Luke, that's good. There's hope. I have a little hope in Luke. So you notice that your search hits are only in the book of Luke.
Okay, that is so cool.
Okay, now you can also enter not just entire books, but you can enter in, say, a range of books. I'm going to type a L for limits and space, and I'm going to GEN for Genesis to Exodus. So Genesis and Exodus, and hit enter. Okay, now let's see if there's any hope in Genesis and Exodus. Nope, nothing in Exodus. Okay, how about love? Let's see if there's any love there. There is, Genesis and Exodus. So that's your search limits are set just to that. Which could be good if you have common terms you're searching for, unlike hope, which doesn't seem to be very common.
On that search, interestingly enough,
Sure.
the NRS does have hope in Luke in Luke 6:34.
Yeah, it's just a translation.
Yeah.
It's good. If you rough up gospel, no.
Okay, so that's how you can. So you're using the dash there for books that are together. Now let's do our example of Luke and Acts. So let's type L for limits, LUK, semicolon, ACT. Because you have the Gospel of John is in between there, so you have to do something to separate that. And hit enter, and we still have our search limit set. And now let's type. Let's put love. Well, there's no love in Acts, okay. Let's type gospel. Okay, have Luke and Acts. Okay. So that's how you can do different books. Now, say you want to search only a part of a book. Let's type L for limits, and let's do JOH 1:1 through 1:18, just for the prologue, and hit enter. And now I'm just going to type the, since I've given up trying to find hope. Okay, so here you can see it's only in the prologue to the Gospel of John. Now, say I want to compare two different books and have my limits. I'm going to go back to my limits using my up arrow. I'm going to type GEN space 1:1-2:3 semicolon, and then my John, and hit enter. And now I'm going to type the, let's see what I get. So here's Genesis 1:1, I'll do through 2:3, and then I have John 1:1 through 18. Okay? So you see there how I did that. So you can have you're looking specific sections if you're doing comparison studies. So that may work out well. Say you're doing comparisons of, say, Ephesians and Colossians. That may be a great one. Right. Do comparisons. Or say the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5 through 7, and the book of James. So that may be something you want to do some comparisons. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So the L in front of the scripture, what you're looking for, what does that symbolize again?
Limits.
Limits.
L for
okay.
limits. Now, right now, if any searches I conduct, so say I'm done with my search limit study and I want to search for the word God, which appears everywhere, but I'm only getting it in Genesis and John. Then this BibleWorks, right? Now, I have a search limit set, which you see here in the yellow, and at the bottom of the command line, and I guarantee you'll do this at some point. You have set a limit, you'll close your computer, you come back to it later and say, now why can't I get my search results I want? Go back up to the command line and type L, and now we're not going to limit it to anything. Just hit enter. And now your search limits are gone.
Very good.
Okay?
That's great.
Now you can preset search limits also. I'm going to show you something here. On this, see there's a drop down here by this search version number or name or letter abbreviation. There's some tools here. Choose your search versions, choose search limits. Okay, here's a box here. And it says do not apply any limits to the search because we have nothing applied. I can limit it to various books that are here. You can check and uncheck books. You can limit it to specific custom ranges, and you can define these custom ranges. So here, notice I have one GOSP. That'll limit it just to the Gospels. Now let's click on that, let's see what's in there. It also includes Acts. Somebody included Acts. Hebrew, that includes the Hebrew sections, not the Aramaic sections. Here's one at the top, Aramaic. It's only the Aramaic sections of the Bible. Okay. Former prophets. Historical Old Testament books. Here's someone putting in imprecatory Psalms. Here's writings of John, which does include Revelation in this. Gotta make some choices. Later prophets, minor prophets, major prophets, just to the New Testament. In fact, we'll show you some of these. Old Testament. Here's Paul's writings. Okay, which does not include Hebrews. The Pentateuch. And you can include all sorts of different things here. Someone Q. So prison epistles. So now notice what these names are here though. Okay, like for example, Paul, New Testament, Old Testament. I'm just going to cancel out of here. Let's say I want to limit it just to the Gospels with Acts. L space GOSP, hit enter. Now my limit is set to the Gospels and Acts. All those names, whatever you name that, is what you can enter on the command line with the limit. So let's L space Paul. Now I have a limited to Pauline writings. L space NT, because that New American Standard has both the Old Testament and New Testament. Now I want to limit just to the New Testament. L space NT and hit enter. Now any search I conduct just starts at Matthew. Okay? And don't forget to L and hit enter when you're done. Clear them out. So you can predefine those things. So if you have studies you're commonly wanting to do, say, like the Ephesians, Colossians, create a special custom limit there, and then name it as something. And keep your name short, no spaces in the name, and then you can type it. If you can put a space, I don't think it works. But, so then you can easily call that up then for your search limits.
So basically, I mean, besides this, is there any other autosave features within the whole framework? Or is, I mean, I know you could probably turn it on and off, but so this will, I know the limits, of course you said with limit and then enter, it'll obliterate everything that you just did. But what about other components of it? Does it autosave everything you do from when you close out of it? If you don't.
All this configuration, the way I have it set up here, if I close it and restart it, it'll come back to the way it
Okay,
was.
so but if you can, okay, so but that's virtually with anything besides just the limits too?
Yes, yeah, my configuration, if I added in, like say, a whole bunch of different books, then that'll be saved in there. You don't have to save anything, it automatically does that. When it closes, it'll do that. Now, if the program crashes for some odd reason, like mine has been susceptible to today, then it goes back to what I had when I started to begin with.
Oh.
Because it saves it on exit.
Okay,
So-
oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I'll just close it now. See what I've got here. New American Standards, my search version, Matthew 1:1. Words tab is there. I'll just close this and restart it. And there we go. It's back to the way I had it set up. So yeah, when you close it, it'll remember that.